Hello, you wonderful beings. It's time for a new art session. Yay! I'm super excited as I do something I usually don't, and that is drawing weapons and kids. So it's kind of a real no-go area for me, as I'm usually very strict with this. And as I don't want to be overly strict, I'm contemplating this time on what happens when you combine something like tech or high tech with something like a kid's mind or kids. And I feel like right now we're really living in a time where exactly this is happening. Like, we're experiencing like amazing minds, like young minds, exploring tech in completely new ways. And of course, everyone will like immediately think about cryptocurrency. And it's really the type of tech that I am talking about is actually the body. And I mean that, like, right now, I feel like we have people that are really tapping into areas of their own mind or of their own being or of their own consciousness would be the better term, where they really exploring things that were, I would say, from a scientific standpoint of view, that were not allowed. And just like certain savants or certain very young age prodigies had access to areas that were basically undiscovered in the amount those savants are expressing them. So what I think is extremely magical about tech meeting a young mind is something that is usually static or something that might even be destructive. So that means maybe you're being given a weapon or you're being given a tool of power, and the moment you have like a young spirit approaching it, it gets transmuted through what I would call playfulness. And that playfulness is of such a value. It is a state of being that is extremely efficient. So playful is usually associated with playing or like joking around. However, playfulness, I mean, let's just dive deeper into what playfulness actually is. I have situations where I work or where I'm really like studying or trying to figure something out. It is extremely, I would call it one-pointed. It is a state of mind that is extremely sharp and extremely focused. However, the feeling of the state is just playful. It is just kind of an ecstatic, enjoyable realm. And I had to remind myself of this. It's not like I'm like, oh, like the next thing I will do is I'm going to be playful, and then I'm diving. On a daily basis, I keep forgetting it. I'm like, man, get yourself together. Don't be so serious about everything. And then just like dive into it and enjoy it. And this is something that ironically it gets me more to the serious stuff. It gets me more to what I really want to work on. And this playfulness gets me more to projects that I'm so grateful to participate in, and it's something I really want to encourage everyone who's listening, that it's it's a tool and it's really applicable, and a realm that is there waiting for you to just go crazy with it. It's really like, it's a strong, powerful realm, and it's like, don't be hesitant. It's so whenever I'm in this realm, I'm not hesitant. I'm just like, there could be, like knives and weapons and lightsabers, and you're just doing what you got to do, and there's no latency, there's no ping, if you want to call it like this. It's just it just happens, whatever you're trying to accomplish. And yet it's not that masculine way of thinking like, it's gonna happen, I'm gonna be playful. It's kind of ironic because it's on the completely on the other end of the spectrum. There's no aggressive approach to it. And in this case, I feel the conflicts, like the world, like the really big conflicts we're witnessing, not all of them, but many, I'm really, really convinced that many of them are based on like an old thinking or an old idea of how you are allowed to think, or how you are, like, it's really like a mental type of religion, I would say, where you are allowed to think only in a certain realm. And there's this old power that is trying to survive. Like there's this old thing that is trying to be like, there's no other way. And you realize, like, yeah, like for the non-playful mind, there's no other way. But imagine, like, the parents, mom and dad, they're fighting. They're like, they're arguing, but they're not arguing with words or swords. They're arguing or fighting with lightsabers. And then like the kid is coming in and it's like, okay, guys, I have enough. Like, I don't want these vibes anymore. I'm over it. And then it's like, just grabbing the swords. The parents have their little awakening, and it's just like, okay, start engineering, like doing what it's got to do, and it just transformed those weapons into something you can play around with. And it's funny to just explore the exact same patterns. This new wave that is coming in is really about being playful, and not only about having fun, or not only about entertaining, but actually like playfully educating, playfully inventing, and playfully exploring. And I think this holds such a potential, as I very, very, very often like have the same pattern, just in a smaller scale, but I have the exact same pattern that I'm witnessing with my daughter, when she's just like, in almost every situation, like, she's like, you want to get into an interaction with me? Okay, now I'm going to make you tap into my playful realm. I mean, she's not expressing it in terms of words, but she's saying like, I'm not going on your vibe, man. I'm just like, I stay in my vibe and I'm playful, whatever you want to do, be that authority, be whoever you want. And that triggers you to, like, of course, if you allow it, and I can encourage everyone to allow it, it triggers you to go on that same vibe, and to be like, okay, like, I get it. They're like, let's be fast. Let's be like, like, like have this instant communication. You look into someone's eyes and you're like, I already know where you are. Everything's like communicated. Let's go for it. And that is for me, this is playful actually, because there's no room for like a slow type of conflict. And I think this playfulness actually comes from a long period of learning, because the playfulness my daughter had 1 year ago was a different playfulness than she has now. It's now much more intelligent and ripened, and it's the same with us. I think that we can definitely like, I mean, imagine when the first, like, I don't know, Star Wars movies came out. They were like, people were just blown away. They were like, what is this? I mean, this is some crazy, serious, like, mental realm someone's opening there. It's like a mass magician. I don't know how to describe it, but it's someone who's really like communicating a message on a whole nother level. And I'm not into the violence and not into the whole war celebration. However, just like some years after, like, people start making funny costumes and people get used to the idea of science fiction and to the idea of like spaceships, and they get playful to actually like to develop a certain type of humor around it. Some years passed, and you find your first memes that are revolving around this whole Star Wars cosmos. To then have some couple of years, like this layer of YouTube and the whole internet education together, we have now people like working on crazy technology that is like that makes Star Wars look stupid. I mean, honestly, it is shocking and beautiful at the same time, like depending on what we do with it. However, I think the moment we like the more playful we stay in this whole experience, the more it will all turn out to be like in our benefit. And when I say in our benefit, I don't mean the like humans or like a certain group. I mean, like you make things equal. You make things like you get things to an equal level where you like you develop a certain type of respect that is very present with you. I do not mean this respect of like, oh, there's this being on this throne and I'm like in awe, and I do not mean like a fear-based respect, because like honestly most of the people, when they hear respect, that's the first thing they're associated with. It's like this fear-based respect. With respect, I mean this attention or awareness you usually have when you interact with something that you're taking as real, or you're taking as you're basically telling it, okay, hey, I see you're here. I see you exist here. I see you are really there, and I take you as something real. It is like when you see a real lion on the street, you wouldn't just walk past that lion. You would like make a big round around that lion. And however, when you would see a lion printed on the poster, you would just say, okay, this thing is not real. So, however, when you look at like indigenous people, or even go like do your research and check out how like the first reactions of people that went to the first ever built cinema rooms, like they were scared. They ran out of the cinema because like there were trains, driving towards the people in the screen, and they were like almost like traumatized. And then you look now what happened to the technology compared to what happened to our awareness, and how much technology we need to make things for our awareness to accept it as real. It's crazy compared to how certain tribes or how some certain people still have the ability to tap in the state where they're like, okay, I can accept this thing as real, like 100%. I can tap in this. Like, imagine like, like someone who has no idea of a cell phone, and you look like you just walk around talking with this, or now even like people wear a lot of headsets and they're talking, and they take this like they take this as a real serious entity. However, most of the time, like, it is crazy when people hang up the phone afterwards, they do not notice that there's another entity that is equally as real. That is their mind. That is also talking like all the time. And it is amazing what happens when you develop I would call it a respect for that, or a certain type of awareness, and how everything has to follow. Like everything like around that type of awareness you're developing has to form around this awareness you're developing. It is crazy. Like there is nothing that is stronger than you, or that like your awareness. It is just absolutely the biggest and yet the smallest thing you can change within your consciousness. And that is like this, you have every day, like the days are passing, and every day like a micrometer, like it feels like a micrometer, that your awareness is growing. That every single day, it's just like a tiny little thing. And compare, like, people like, oh, our bodies, like, it takes time to grow, it takes time to build this and that. We're growing fast. I mean, we're a fast growing organism. We're really like this rocket type of organism. And when you look at how slow actually the consciousness is growing, it is crazy how long it takes to learn like very basic things. And with very basic things, I mean, for example, like taking something on the absolutely same eye level, like that which you think you are. That means you have a certain idea on what level you are. And taking something which is outside of you on exactly that same level is shocking. It is, I mean, it's in a beautiful sense shocking. I don't mean like horror movie shocking, but really, really deeply like it's a learning experience. Every single time you're doing it, it's a learning experience. There's nothing like a like, oh, tomorrow it will be boring to do this. No, it's every single time you're taking the thing to the same level. And of course, it's so much easier to do this with like your relatives or with your close friends, to be like, okay, I'm taking it on the exact same level. Or people you're working with, like, it is easier. However, I mean, try doing this with a cup, or try doing this with a computer even, and you will have crazy insights. You will have a crazy type of relation you're building with your surrounding on a daily basis. When people say it's everything is an illusion and everything, and I'm like, no, wait a second, that's like one step ahead. Because people that are very close to you, your partner or your kids, and someone is coming and saying like they're like, I mean, come on, like, you serious? It's they're an illusion? Like, no. That what separates me from them, that is an illusion. And this is something that is so important nowadays, I think, to I don't know, to repeat that mantra, then that not the core of your loved ones is an illusion. The core is absolutely real. It is, you could pretty much say it's the same core. which is like yours, you know. It's pretty much the exact same note or tone or however you want to call it. And like, this is just my personal perception. There's like tons of different approaches to how to playfully explore this reality. And I think it's amazing, like once this formula is kind of repeated, that the core of them is real. However, that which separates you, you know, like the skin, the looks, the styles, the minds, the ideas, the concepts, they are an illusion, but not the being behind it. The being behind it is not an illusion. The being behind it is like completely real. Now, yeah, I feel like I've just gone a little bit far now. However, yeah, I really want to keep this momentum as I finished this picture today, and it was like a lot of fun. I'm usually not so not so stoked to draw weapons and stuff. I want to thank everyone for listening, and I really hope you could resonate with some of the things that came up in this session. And also, I want to use the occasion to announce a crowdfunding campaign that I will launch right around my birthday, I guess. And it also relates to like the upcoming technologies, and I'm so curious to just reveal what I've been working on for the last couple of months. So, with this being said, much love to everyone, and see you in the next video.